Sports TV, man. That's my dude. I rolls with him.
You heard what the man said. It's Flight Sports TV.
Flight Sports TV, that's where it's at.
Flight Sports TV.
What's going on, people? It's Flight Sports TV. I appreciate y'all for checking with me. I already know what it is. We back with another one of them things. We got a lot of things to discuss tonight involving Lamelo Ball. You already know a whole lot of Charlotte Hornets talk. It's definitely good to connect with the people. Salute to all y'all in the chat right now. Lamelo Ball, man, and the Hornets, there's a lot of new changes popping off. There's a lot of new things going on all around, basketball. USA got that gold medal. Listen, I'm already predicting it. I'm going to start talking it now. I see Lamelo 2028, if all things go well, health-wise. And we're going to get into that because the Charlotte Hornets have a new vice president of health and performance. His name is Trent Salo. We're going to get all into it. He was introduced by new ownership, new management. It's just new everything going on right now with the Hornets. So it's definitely solid. I'm very excited for this upcoming season. There's a reason to be optimistic. I think a lot of years, maybe we was blindly excited, or maybe I was. I don't want to speak for you. Maybe we got a little bit ahead of ourselves. But I think right now, this is the time because they are really doing the work. I don't see any talking. I see less talking and more action, and that is the recipe for winning. I'm gonna get into the way they introduce these people. Before we do that, make sure you hit the like button and most definitely hit the subscribe button. We're just getting started. We live. We're gonna be looking to bring some more live streams to the people. We're getting things cooking. It's about to be a busy season, y'all. Just make sure y'all buckle up. We're gonna have, a lot of good streams for you. I'm predicting, the activity level to be just sky high, berserk. So just be patient. Live streams and going to be coming every single night in a matter of literally a couple more weeks. Before you know it, it'll be training camp. Before you know it, it'll be the preseason. So the list goes on. But the Hornets do have, some important things that they have to take care of before we get to that point. We all know this is a make or break season for the Charlotte Hornets. I think it could be some big ramifications if things don't go well. I'm not even going to really predict that too much in the atmosphere. I really think things are going to go solid for the Hornets, in my humble opinion. This is the year. I'm going to get into, what the Charlotte Hornets have done in naming that new vice president. Something had to change, and that's something that I really love that the new regime has done. They are almost attacking the source of where the problems are happening, and all of these injuries. Who was the head of the health? Whoever that was needed to be fired, and change needed to come in. Trent Salo, is basically just sitting at an arm's length from new, President Jeff Peterson. And that's what you want. You want everybody to be in sync. And that's what I'm seeing from the Charlotte Hornets. Everybody seems to be pretty much on one accord. For the first time in a long time, everybody's on point. And I think that's solid. That Lamelo is out there with the squad early working. You know, he's not, like I said before, he's not vacationing, and I think that's solid for him. They're able to get a good look at Lamelo. When you got all of this change, you want your guys in house. As early as possible. The last thing you need is guys rolling in late. The earlier you can look at them, the better. And with everybody connecting out in Las Vegas and what they're doing now, the connections and everything is just continuing to build. So that's very solid. This guy Salo, he not only did Peterson stamp him, but also the ownership, Rick Snell, Gabe Plotkin. Everybody is behind this new health and performance department that they have assembled. And like I said, this guy Salo is going to be, the key face in all this. And I think that's why you see a situation where you have changes all around the board. We got to understand it wasn't just LaMelo who dealt with injuries. The Hornets, if I'm not mistaken, outside of the Memphis Grizzlies, they had the most players missing the most time. So something had to change. We get caught up with LaMelo and all Melo, but what about Mark Williams? These guys have missed significant time as well. So there's a lot of things that, have to, get sorted out here, at the end of the day. But I think they got the right guy in the right seat, to change things and move the culture beyond to get everybody back on one accord. The previous regime, I'm not even sure who was in charge, but I think they had a lot of lame ducks all around the board. Even down to the developmental, the G League. You got a lot of great young players potentially, you know, and you don't have the right people to cultivate that talent. There's no reason why it was no accident why you see Mr. Camp without a job. He's not with the Charlotte Hornets. He was nowhere to be found. While the Hornets was experiencing some of the most success we've seen in the summer league. I mean, every summer league they was getting just destroyed. Seriously. And now they actually damn near went undefeated, and they was able to sort out the roster. Okay, this young player. They were really evaluating guys. Before it was like they was giving out charity cases. So now if you don't got your act together right now in Charlotte, you will is a potential that you could be up out of there. And that's what I love that has been established by the Charlotte Hornets. Ain't nobody safe, and I think that's very solid in my humble opinion. you know. Now, it's all about now is how all this going to translate to the court because, I'm telling you, last year we had our points, our bullet points on how and why it should be different. This year you see new bullet points. Shout out my man Dom in the chat. He said my Hornets is coming. I believe so as well. I think that this is the year because not only do you have a relatively well, I think outside of one of the Martin twins, everybody's looking like they're pretty much rolling back in healthy. So this and also the drama, it's almost like they had as much injury issues as the drama. Miles Bridges doesn't have this over his head. It's all over, and not only that, it's all over. He's gotten paid. So all of this stuff is going to pay dividends, and it's going to put Charlotte, back on the map where they want to be. I think they know it's a drought. You see the veterans coming back into the fold. Whenever you got Kemba and they start bringing in guys like I said, Taj Gibson. These are winning moves, in my humble opinion. I even heard Kemba Walker say he was excited about Taj Gibson. Because I'm pretty sure those two going to be working hand in hand. To propel the Hornets to a playoff berth. At the very least. And I think everybody's job is successful. You got to crawl before you walk. You get to the postseason. Who knows what the matchups? The NBA is like a game of matchups. If the Hornets get a favorable matchup, all bets are off. So you don't know. It could be injuries, all kind of stuff. And so, and we've never seen yet Lamelo in that setting. Shout out Dom. He said that's right. Got those dogs. Help God out. Yes, they done been there, done that. So now you got to bring these guys back into the fold, man. You need this on the roster, in my humble opinion. This is something that the Hornets was lacking. I didn't know what was their direction. Now you got to think about it from a lot of different points of views. Now, this upcoming draft, and the Hornets to me looks like they want to win. It's going to be interesting to see how they maneuver because you have a high profile draft coming up, and the Hornets right now cannot afford another losing season. See, they kind of in a tough spot, because they cannot tank. They can't think about draft positioning, because you have veterans on this team. You signed people to contracts. You brought Miles back on the big money deal. You have Lamelo there for the long haul. It's time to win. In my humble opinion, you don't. If you wanted to lose or not care about your positioning, I think that you don't bring these guys back or you maneuver. Shout out Ernest Potts. He says we coming back. Yes, man. Shout out the whole CLT. The Charlotte Hornets, man. They gonna get it done. They got the right people in place, and for the first time in a long time, I must admit that. Dom says I think Reggie Jackson could have helped. We must be making another move at backup point guard behind Lamelo. Um, Listen, I'm gonna get into a lot of different things. Expect something on Micic, this week. We could get into Micic right now a little bit because I think that Micic is something, in my humble opinion. I think that they have something there. What I don't know, but I do believe that it's something there. So we just have to really see what's going on, in my humble opinion. So like I said, make sure you hit the like button and most definitely hit the subscribe button so you don't miss that. Ernest says, I like Nick Smith Jr. He's fine. Yeah, Nick Smith is all right, man, in my humble opinion. You know, Nick Smith doing his thing. He's developing nicely. And I think not only is he going to develop, but he's going to be an actual good player out there, in my humble opinion. So just give this guy some time and be patient with him as well. He's another guy, that you gotta, you know, have some patience, and he's shown that he will develop. He's definitely a keeper. I think they'll be making a terrible mistake if they was to let him go. I think they let go of all the dead weight. In my humble opinion, I think when you let go of some of these guys that wasn't really doing nothing, wasn't gonna do nothing, this is your best bet. We're gonna find out. A salute to Dom. I like Nick Smith Jr., but hopefully we keep him if we don't trade him possibly down the road if they see something else. Like I said, the Hornets is in a good place, and at the end of the day, you got to have high quality role players. Especially if you're looking into moves. You're not going to be able to put together a compelling package of Bryce McGowan's, JT Thor, Leaky Black. That's not the package. You understand? Pause. You gotta put together something a little more special than that. You got to put together something good. And I think the Hornets are on their way to having some decent quality role players. Last year, all year, I was like, man, the Hornets keep missing wide open threes. In this pick and roll heavy, NBA, spread offense. Every team is pretty much running a similar offense. Penetrate, kick out, you got to have knockdown shooters, and guys like Bryce McGowan's, these guys wasn't getting it done. I like what they brought in now, and that, like I said, you got Miles coming back. He don't have to deal with being out for some time. He's going to miss this amount of time. He'll be ready to go immediately, so that's going to pay dividends, especially with the new coaching staff, looking to establish something coming off of a championship. Everything is just working out. You know, and like I said, this guy Trent Salo, He could be the difference here. He could be the difference between, Lamelo having one of the most healthiest years of his career. What if Lamelo plays all 82? What if Lamelo plays 80 games? We got to start to think about this. What if Mark Williams and Lamelo have a relatively healthy season? People don't play 82 games. I mean, people miss little knick-knack things, but just reasonable absence. Not he out forever. He out for this long. I mean, that's just crazy. The Hornets don't need that. Dom says, why we pass on so many players in previous drafts like Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Giannis, Dame. Like I said, we got to figure out, like I said, Michael Jordan was running things at that time. We know Michael, sometimes about Michael Jordan, he may have a guy that he zeroed in on, and it's like all or nothing. It's like I'm rolling with him, and I don't give a damn about nothing else. And I think sometimes that, does not always go to his liking. You can't just be so hell bent on a specific player, that you're not evaluating the full chessboard. And at times Michael Jordan didn't do that, and then you'll resort to some things like this. A lot of organizations do that. You can look at every draft. You're gonna look at this draft that we just seen, that everybody just trashed. We're gonna see diamonds everywhere. I'm telling you, I bet this draft ain't as bad as people, saying. It's gonna be a superstar emerge from this draft that know, oh man, I didn't see this coming. It might be multiple. I'm telling you, but only time will tell. It's crazy out here, y'all. The Charlotte Hornets, they making change. That's all we can ask for. The activity level this off season, I think that is something, big from the new ownership, new president. He seems like he want to put his antennas, pause into the equation. He want to make sure the Hornets got a voice. He want to make sure the Hornets are involved in trades. And you never know what this could do. You don't know. Like I said, believe it or not, they help facilitate, that Klay Thompson deal. In this league, it's favor for favors. You might owe an owner. Owner might owe you this, that, and third. You help do something. Shit, things come back your way. So I like what the Hornets are doing. Rap guy says Malik Monk was a bust for Charlotte. I don't want to say that. I mean, he was, but that's when you got to get into, the regime, the even the health and performance, staff. I mean, everything, needs to be in question when you have a guy like Malik Monk getting slapped around on the bench, but then go to Sacramento and become this, that, and the third. So a potential six-man of the year candidate. So it's kind of crazy in my humble opinion, but I think now with the people the Hornets are putting in place, you should see less of that. And let's see what they got with this kid TJ. Because this is the first pickup of this regime. Now, a lot gonna be riding on this kid TJ. Now they're gonna do everything in their power for him to be successful. Because the last thing they need is him to be a bust on their watch. They drafted him. They didn't draft Brandon Miller as much as they're gonna take credit and this, that, and the third, or even Lamelo. These people, Mark Williams, Miles, so these people were here, already. Now let's see what you do with your guys. They got KJ Simpson, in the second round. I'm high on that kid too. Pause. I think that kid is gonna be solid. A lot of people talk about the backup point guard, this, that, and the other. Listen, they got a lot of guys that could potentially fill that role. It might not just be one guy. That's what a lot of people get caught up with. We just want that definitive backup point guard. But it could be a series of guys. You might have Meaches, you might have Nick Smith, you might have, that's how things might go. But I definitely like the kid KJ, man. I think he got something there. It's upsetting that, he has some health issues, that screwed him up, like that. But I think he's a player. We didn't even get a chance to see him at all, because of the injury that he suffered. And that's kind of crazy. The Hornets, they drafting players that's hurt. The last, like I said, they don't need that, especially with the organization, dealing with that, especially with their core. So the last thing you need to do is bring in more guys to the core that are dealing with things like this. But it's a catch-22, y'all. You got to bring in the best talent available. I think people were saying the kid KJ, he could have went higher. So it's wild. This draft was crazy. I'm telling you, there's gonna be a lot of players that shock people. This draft was dominated by Bronny James, um, and that was just about it. Nobody cared anything about the number one pick, the number two pick. And I'm telling you, it's gonna be a lot of good players. You look at the kid Montez from Chicago. That's a good. We're gonna see how his game translates. Dom says the last few drafts, I think we did all right. Like I said, it wasn't horrible, you know. But like I said, things could get better. You got to get the right people in place. This draft could, like, it was hit or miss. It seemed like you didn't know, and I think they took, a upside, pick. Maybe they had some guys that could have been maybe more ready right now, but I think the upside that they seen in TJ, and it might, look better, in the long haul, 2-3 years from now. You might look at a montage right now and say, "Oh man," you might look at the kid Dalton Connect and say, listen, he can come play for you right now, but is he going to be better than TJ in 2 years, 3 years? That's the question. 2, 3 years, TJ could be a franchise player, an all-star, or I'm not saying he will be, but I'm just giving you, what could potentially take place. So we just got to relax ourselves here and be patient. The Charlotte Hornets are on their way. We can't rush it. Rap guy says the number one and number two picks are role players. I mean, you heard Trey Young come out and say that, you know, um, and that's kind of crazy. I'm expecting Trey Young to be moved too. It seemed like he already starting the rumblings, and I noticed that he didn't really say much about his player. He kept the focus on everybody else, but definitely said the whole damn draft is filled with role players. Nobody's looking at them as the stars. And he did bring up other drafts with the Edwards, the Wembys, and he was like, "Man, damn, look what the hell we got." They basically got a goddamn role player. We drafted not as a superstar franchise guy. We drafted. Shout out Rap God. I like the kid Rob. I'm telling you, it's gonna be some sleepers. There's gonna be some sleepers. Like I said, this draft got overshadowed by LeBron James' son. Um, it don't make sense. Look out for these kids, for these guys. Rob, look out for the kid Stephon Castle. Look out for Montez out in Chicago. Um, look out for Holland. Look out for everybody. I think you just pick whoever you like. Who you've been evaluating. And see what happens. I think Dillingham going there to an already made squad, I think it's going to pay dividends because he can come in and they don't need him, to do it right now, but it's going to happen. I'm telling you, when he get it together, they got a steal up there in Minnesota. They're gonna have a good player to bring off that bench. I'm still sitting here trying to figure out how the hell they got in that draft. That I thought that was just completely wild. Shout out Daniel. He says Happy Tuesday. Hey everyone. It's gonna be a busy year. I'm telling you, I'm predicting Lonzo, Lamelo. Who knows what we're gonna hear from Leangelo? But I'm expecting a lot of activity. This upcoming season. So it's gonna be a lot of live streams coming from Flight Sports. We're getting geared up for a busy year that's upcoming. Like I said, we got Summer League coming up. You already know. We can't wait to see the Hornets. This current regime with Lamelo and everybody. We seen last year with the trade how they started a little spark. We seen this off season with the new ownership, with new basically a new whole front office overhaul that we knew was coming. We seen the effects of it. Now we need to get a chance to see Lamelo, Miller, Miles, Williams, all these guys on the floor, and really see how it looks, man. We got to see how this squad could come to life. It's a lot of messing around going on, but the Eastern Conference to me could be had. I think the Charlotte Hornets could do something out there out east. They just gotta, hang in there. In my humble opinion, start the year early. They got to get off to a good start. I think that's going to pay dividends for Charlotte. The last thing they need is to get off to a rocky start. I don't. I think they can put themselves behind the eight ball. The Hornets, to me, part of it. I feel like they always win game one. You ever notice that the first game of the season, the Hornets win? I think they lost. I forgot who they played. I thought they might have lost this home opener, but for the most part, they usually win their first game for the last couple of years that Lamelo was there. So it provides a lot of optimism, So I just want some sustainability. I think the Hornets should know now, and that's what I'm saying. When you had two horrendous years, you learn a little something from that, And I think the Hornets learned that they're gonna have to get off to a good start now. They're gonna have to sustain themselves. It's not about just getting a couple of wins. They can't just be getting a couple of wins and a couple of losses and win here and lose here. There has to be some sustainability, and it starts with habits. And I think that's what you get. You don't have Clifford there no more. Now here comes Charles Lee. I'm gonna trust him and his habits. That he's gonna be looking to bring to this team. The man was right there. With pardon me, the Boston Celtics in that championship. My rap guy says Miles' redemption season is 2 months from now. I'm telling you, like I said, Miles Bridges, to me, in my humble opinion, he's going to be solid. For the rap guy says Zoe's resurgence. Yep. Like I said, a lot of people is going to be very upset that they counted these guys out, because, like I said, the Charlotte Hornets, man, they're gonna do something, in my humble opinion. Just be patient. I'm telling you, you got to be patient out here with these Hornets, man, because I know that everybody is just wanting everything now. Dom says we got to find that true power forward. Miles, I guess not. You don't really look at him like that. Even though I don't know, I guess they'd be playing Miles everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if he went to the four. You gotta look how Tatum. They was using Tatum all over the place. So I could see. I just want to see what he do. Charles Lee, how he maximizes these guys, what he does differently. But they all look motivated. Everybody look like it's go time. Um, Hopefully TJ can take that's gonna be the tricky part. TJ could kind of slow the process down, if he's not up to speed. But if he's a guy who if he becomes a real key focal point in this core, the Hornets could really do something for real. And I think they could continue to sustain themselves for a long period of time, because you just continue to add. Miller is already a surefire all-star in time if he just continues to progress. Now, what if you add another surefire all-star? That's the thing. This is why the Hornets really can't afford on a missed draft. This year it may have not been to their, like I said, I'm not gonna blame them, because this things can go wrong. This draft was labeled as basically a BS draft, and the Hornets could possibly miss somebody because of like I said, they looked out in France, and found something, So don't be surprised if we see that the 10th pick was better, or another pick that went higher. This draft was a tricky draft, So I want to hope that that don't happen. Let's hope that this guy T-Jan is cut from that French cloth, So let's see. I don't know his relationship with Victor, So, but this kid right here, man, from the highlights, you see kind of like the talent, what it could be, and like I said, I think if he stays healthy, you playing with Lamelo, your shot should be easy. You shouldn't be up on there just going crazy. So Lamelo's gonna get you easy shots, and you got Miles there to take pressure off you. So the Hornets is a deceptive team because they got a good collection of vets, in there. So that to able to alleviate some of the heat off of T-Jan. So T-Jan's not gonna have to come in and just be guns blazing, right away. He'll be able to take his time, and get himself acclimated, in my humble opinion, because they have the vets. Because some of these other guys, they just going into a team, they need them to start now. You develop on the fly. The Hornets, I don't think that's going to be the case. Uh, who knows if he's going to be out in Greensboro? We don't know how this current regime is going to be utilizing Greensboro. Are they looking to send guys there, or like some kind of project? Just like that's kind of how Mitch Kupchak, they really used Greensboro. It's almost like a feeding ground for their talent. Everybody went through Greensboro, outside of Brandon Miller, but everybody was running through there. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do, how many people they have in there for how long, or do they utilize them less and they keep these guys on the roster, and develop them, for real. So it's going to be interesting to see. I want to know what they do with KJ, and even TJ, because TJ really can't be out in Greensboro for a long. People are going to be scratching their heads if they look up and find out TJ Salon is out in Greensboro for a significant period of time. That's not going to be a good look for Charlotte. KJ will probably be in G League most of the season. It's going to be, hey, we don't know that. Let's see what they have in him. I'm pretty sure they're getting a good look at him now. I believe he's kind of healthy. Um, when the update come through, Rap Guy, we definitely will. We will have a Leangelo live shortly. It's almost time to talk some Jello. Like I said, I know people can't wait for Jello to pop off some news, but it's always something to discuss with Leangelo. You know what time it is. But I wish he could have been with this regime of Charlotte. It's devastating that he didn't get an opportunity to play with this squad, and be coached by this coach and this front office, dealing with him. The old front office, like I said, I don't know. I don't want to say they didn't have his best interest, but they did give him an opportunity. A lot of times we want to annihilate the Hornets and this, that, and the third. They did bring him in. So could Jello have done some things differently? Of course. I mean, I'm pretty sure he would tell you that. But it wasn't to the point where he couldn't have had an opportunity. Even going back, okay, he don't make the main roster. Going back to Greensboro, I still think that, like I said, it was a shitty situation. He should have been able to been given an opportunity. In my humble opinion, he was right on there with those guys. Like I said, I'm not gonna get all into it. It's like a broken record, but he just wasn't given the right opportunity like some of the other guys were. His minutes were very sporadic. And I think he was used almost like some kind of goddamn prop or something to sell tickets. And bring awareness to their social media platform and all this, that, and the third. So after Jello leave, I mean, they keep the followers. I mean, keep all the revenue that was generated. You had people flying out to Greensboro. People making content on Greensboro. I mean, this shit wasn't going on. I said, the estimates is gonna go on anymore. You see after Jello, people that got fired, right? If they would have did right by Leangelo, I guarantee Son Kemp would have still had a job. But he wanted to start fooling around. Now he don't got a job. So I mean, it's just how it go. More people gonna get fired. It's just how it go. Um, Dom says, how many wins you think we might produce? You know, 35, 40. Somewhere in there. It all depends if they get hot. I want to see the first week of the season. Or have they lost every single game? I need to see the schedule. So that's gonna really give me a good avenue. I want to see like the first 10 games, first 5 to 10 games, because I need to know what's gonna be their start. What if they open it up against all the hard teams? That's gonna be something to think about. But nonetheless, man, Charlotte is coming, man. They got everything seeming like this in place now. So now they gotta put it on the court. No more talking, man. Put it on the court now. It's go time. It's really do or die for the Charlotte Hornets, in my humble opinion. They don't have any time to waste. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. How many games Charlotte could win this upcoming year? Because like I said, not one thing for sure, two things for certain. This is a make or break season. They really they have to do something, and I think that they're gonna get it done. I really do. Just be patient with them though, because if it don't have, if it like I said, I just don't want them to get off to a bad start. That's all. That's hard for me to answer that question though. But yeah, like I said, Rap Guy says at least 43. That's what I'm going anywhere from 45. No, I'm not 43. I said 35 to 40. But I mean 43. That like I said, that could change if they get off to a good start. And if everybody is healthy. Because if everybody is healthy, I think that some of them games is going to swing in their favor. There was a lot of games where it was close and the other team won. So just be patient. 35 to 43 wins for us. Okay. I think 30 anywhere from 35 wins in that ballpark should get you in. In my humble opinion, it should be able to get you into the at the playing at the very least. You know, I'm looking at they got a lot of the NBA Cup. That schedule has been announced. Like I said, let me know what your thoughts on that. The Charlotte Hornets being in that, I'm not really too caught up in that because of I do know for a fact that the Hornets need to just win. So I don't want to get too caught up in the playing and all this, that, and the third. I really think they job is a little bit bigger than that. They got to win point blank period. They can't get caught up in the group play, and all this, that, and the third. So it's crazy. But I think they're in the same group they was in last year. I'm going to show you that right now. Shortly, the Charlotte Hornets is in Group A. East Group A. Featuring of course the Orlando Magic, the Brooklyn Nets, the New York Knicks, and the Sixers. So I mean, this group play is pretty tough when you start to look at the teams that's in there. You got the Knicks, and you got the Sixers. In my opinion, you look at the Hornets. Why can't the Hornets, be why they should be able to give Orlando and they should be able to give Brooklyn hell, and just compete with the Knicks and the Net. I mean, the Knicks and the Sixers. I think that's all you can ask for. And if they play, this is why it's so important to play your cards right. Because let's say the Hornets, have a relatively healthy year. They get to the playoffs, the playing or whatever. And let's say they facing against Philly. And shit. Um, Joel Embiid, he is over. He out for the rest of the year. See what kind of shit is that? And they facing the Hornets in the first round, and they fully healthy. All they got to deal with is Tyrese Maxey and Paul George, and he's a fraud. So I mean, I'm telling you, they're gonna Lamelo and them will give them all out hell. If they match up with the Sixers and Joel Embiid is not there, and I'm predicting something like that is gonna take place. Let's hope the Hornets could get lucky, and draw that card. Because like I said, you look at what happened with the Pacers and you look at what happened with the Timberwolves. LaMelo had to sit back and watch this. He had to sit back and watch all these guys get praised, get the red carpet treatment while he sits there and gets lost in the goddamn shuffle. This is downright sickening. So change is coming. Everybody just got to be patient, man. So that's my only thing I could really say to people, man. A lot of people want to rush the process, and we just gotta just be patient with the Hornets, man. Especially this season, I think that they are going to be competitive, but Let's just see, and I mean just the start of the year. Let's say they don't get off to the earliest start. Just relax. I think the big key for the Hornets is health. If they're healthy, they're gonna give themselves a puncher's chance. That's what I truly believe. So just patience and time. Yeah, we could become like Boston, Golden State, San Antonio, develop. Yeah, so you gotta play the cards right big time for that. Your Bulls got Rookie of the Year, and Lonzo gonna help him win it. I listen. I do Montage is a problem. I like him already. Pause. I think that the kid could be something. So it's up to him at the end of the day. We could all want it for the kid, but he got to do it for himself. So we're gonna be sitting back watching Montage, very extensively this year, especially if Lonzo on the Bulls, even if he's not. Just because I think that I want to see how his game translates. Because to me, I think he was one of the most electrifying guys in the summer league. Now I want to see how that transfers to the real season. How does he look? Is he? That's gonna be key. Can he continue this? I think that's what everybody wants to see. But we ain't too far away from the regular season. I know everybody's excited. Can't wait to see Charlotte Hornets basketball, Lamelo Ball back on the floor. All of these things are important and big time, for uh, all NBA fans. You got Lonzo coming back. That's going to draw shockwaves. We got to stop acting like when Lonzo not back, it's not good for basketball. Basketball is so much better when we have Lonzo Ball in the fold. You know, and we all know this. So we got to pay homage, man. But it's flight sports. Like I said, we're gonna have a lot of live streams coming for the people. Um, you know, there's a lot to discuss, man, all over the board. But let me know your thoughts on the Hornets basically overhauling their new, health and performance staff. You know, why didn't the previous regime think of something like this? It's beyond me. But I like how these new guys came in and they're establishing change, and that's key. That needs to be one of the first things they do. They need to just establish change. Yeah. So, like I said, what do y'all think of how the Hornets fare in the Eastern Conference, especially that bottom half of the Eastern Conference? You know, there's a lot of good teams out there, but I do think that as long as as long as they got Lamelo healthy, they're gonna have a puncher's chance at all times. But that's gonna be key, keeping him healthy. Are they gonna be able to do that? Because you could get a new staff, you could get a new this, you can get a new that. Bro, you're gonna be able to keep Mark Williams on the floor. It's gonna be the key. So only time will tell. Yeah, there's a lot of good surprise teams out there. Every year is a team that shocks the world. Why can't it be Lamelo Ball and the Hornets? That's my own thing. That's my question for everybody. Why can't Lamelo and the Hornets be that team to get to that point? I think they could. Just like I said, just gotta be patient. But nonetheless, shout out to everybody in the chat, all y'all that pulled up. Shout out, salute to my man Dom. Like I said, I know everybody's just excited about the Charlotte Hornets. They can't wait. So Dom says we stay healthy. We have really great chance. We have many close games that could have turned. So yeah, you're right about that. Like I said, it's crazy. PJ Washington, he never got a chance to experience this. This new regime change. It's big changes now. So it's upsetting that some of the older guys, never got a chance to see this team blossom. But I'm happy, and I like how they was able to keep Miles, because one thing I hear about Miles Bridges, and I'm listening to everything he's saying, but and mostly everything he said is he wants to be here for the turnaround. He been here when the Hornets were bad. He been here he want to be there when they actually break through and get to the playoffs. So you got to have these guys that have suffered, so they can understand the triumph. So it's only a matter of time before the Charlotte Hornets, get to their ultimate goal. But nonetheless, man, we're gonna be back live tomorrow. I want everybody to hit the like button and most definitely hit the subscribe button. We're gonna have a lot of live streams coming. We're gonna be connecting with the people a whole lot more. Like I said, it's gonna be a busy year, man. My advice to everybody is just to buckle up and get ready, because the Hornets, Lamelo and Lonzo, don't be surprised if they are fully healthy for just about the whole goddamn year. So I'm gonna leave it at that. You already know what it is. It's Flight Sports TV. We're gonna be back with another
Flight Sports TV, man. That's my dude. I rolls with him.
You heard what the man said. It's Flight Sports TV.